Welcome to the Lethal Library.
Welcome. I'm Stephanie.
I'm Dani.
And today, Dani is going to tell us another story, which I've heard little tidbits of. Can I spoil it a little bit?
Yes.
I've heard rumors of a prison riot,
Drugs.
lots of drugs,
Lots of
and
drugs.
there's three main suspects, I guess. So it seems like a very juicy tale.
It's really hard when I am researching these because we don't just hang out to record where we hang out other times.
Just
And
to
I'm
hang
just
out.
like, oh my God, I can't wait. So hopefully I didn't build you up too much and hopefully you enjoy it. And this is a messy one. There's lots of people stuff.
Okay, I will do my best to be keeping notes and keep a track.
Was Denise Williams wanting to really help the Nampa Police Department, or was she forced?
Ooh.
What responsibility does the Nampa Police Department hold in this case? In this story, there are undercover informants, lots of drugs, and multiple murderers, and even a prison riot.
It's gonna be wild, folks.
We're going to start in 1987. The last time 27-year-old Denise Williams was seen was on September 18th, 1987. She left her house with a man she knew and his friend to grab some beers at a local convenience store. In December, the Nampa police are asking for help to locate her.
A few months later, NPD, I'm already within, we know them. Not personally.
The Nampa Police Department said Denise was an informant for the department and had helped solve at least 7 cases, and they believe she is dead.
She was helping them a lot. 7 cases to be solved because of her.
Yeah.
She knew what was going down.
Detective Alan Creech, a different Creech, which
Relation.
was the bane of my existence during the Creech research because he came up in so many searches. I'm just
Not
like,
you, Alan.
I
Get
don't
out
want
here.
you, Alan. Detective Alan Creech said, "We have tried to convince her that her life was in danger. The department found Denise employment and a place to live in neighboring Boise, but Denise refused to locate. A close friend of Denise, Liz Meininger, spoke out against the police department. Liz had last seen Denise 4 days before her disappearance. Denise told her 24-hour surveillance was being provided and that she thought her life was in danger. Liz said that Denise was asked 3 different times by the MPD to work as an informant, and she finally agreed.
Pressure.
Well, they have a little something on her. Detective Creech met Denise when he had given her a $100 citation for the marijuana possession and a summons to appear in court. She had 3 plants in her house that she was holding for a friend while they moved.
I was just being a plant mama.
Yeah,
Come on, plant girlies. Wouldn't you hold some plants for your friend?
absolutely. If you gotta move, oh, you don't want them in storage. They'll be sad.
No. Bring him here. We'll give him some sunlight.
Liz said that the police told Denise that they would not find her and would dismiss the charges if she agreed to work as an informant.
For 3 plants, that is wild. I thought it would be something much, much worse. But I mean, in Idaho, that is very, very bad.
Very bad. Denise was financially not doing well. So $100 fine was huge for her. And if you don't pay your fines, you go to jail. I mean, so we could be like, $100. Well, this, first of all, is back in the 80s. But also, she didn't have that kind of extra money. So,
No, and this starts the cycle of, oh, so then I get to go to jail. I get to lose my job. Maybe I lose my car and my home.
and children.
So then, desperate situation.
Detective Creech denied that there was a request for surveillance from Denise.
She just wanted to provide, obviously. She's like, you know what? I've always wanted to be an informant.
Well, but I think what Liz is saying is that she was nervous what I'm understanding is that she wanted surveillance and thought it was being provided for her, so she wasn't sweating it.
She's like, they've got me. I've asked. They're going to be around.
I've got them 7. Yeah. Like 7 times. And
Oof.
it wasn't that big. I don't know. Nampa wasn't that big. I don't know what they were thinking, the police department. It would soon become obvious who would be the common link.
After 7?
Yeah. So Creech said he did not force Denise to be an informant. He simply told her there could be that she could be an informant when her citation was issued. You know how that went down.
Well, and to have to do it 7 times for a $100 fine.
For 3 plants.
That's ridiculous. Like, I thought that we were going to be like, oh, she was transporting on her boat 300 pounds of cocaine. Sure, yeah, I could see you having to really provide something multiple times.
Right?
3 plants, civilian possession. This is wild that they had someone that's not experienced in this position.
2 weeks after her citation was issued, Denise pled guilty to marijuana possession, and then she came to the police and said she wanted to help. Creech said, quote, she felt God was compelling her to help with the drug problem. She was under no compulsion to work with me. I'm gonna say fat mouth.
You really, yes, I agree, because it's like she had to plead guilty still.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do? Just waive her fine and put it on a record? What was she offered in exchange?
Exactly.
I don't think that she was like, since you did catch me, I did read my Bible a few times and I decided this is my calling. I don't think so.
Detective Creech said people who want to become informants must first sign a contract stating they are volunteering for the position. But sometimes police, quote, make deals with people to work as informants in exchange for paying citations.
So it's not necessarily 100% voluntary in my eyes. That's a little bit under duress.
Coercive?
You're not doing it just because you were bored one day and said, you know what? I've been thinking endlessly on what I can do to help the NPD. I've been dreaming about it, so I better just go there. No big deal that if I have to go to jail, I'll lose my livelihood. I just want to help these good boys in blue out.
Denise worked with the department for 3 months for a small fee. So I think she was making a little money on the side, and I think that they paid her citation. But also, in 3 months, 7 people get busted.
That's very dangerous. There's no way that certain people aren't realizing who's running in certain circles, and
it becomes very obvious very fast.
Denominator.
According to Creech, Denise was a cut above the rest of the informants. Yeah, 7 and 3 months.
They should have known and been like, slow down, girl. Like, what are you doing to protect yourself? Because how do they not know that you're telling on them?
Denise's sister, Diane Vaughn, blames the Nampa police for her disappearance. Quote, if she was really up against a brick wall, if the situation was as Creech says, why didn't they move her butt out of state? Because they're coming out and they're saying, oh, we think she's probably dead, right? After 2 months of her being, disappearing. If they knew anything, why would they keep her?
They're just getting it while the getting's good.
I believe that. Diane said the department should have forced her sister to leave if they were that concerned about her well-being.
Or at least been like, we know the timeline of employment as an informant, and this isn't good. Like, you're going...
you're crushing it, but you're also putting your life in severe danger.
Yeah. Yikes.
Instead of moving her out of the area, they found her a minimum wage job in Boise, but she never secured a place for her to live. Quote, this is her sister, quote, she didn't get any credit for what she's done for the Nampa police. Now there's the possibility that she's dead, and now that's her fault? Isn't she entitled to the protection we're afforded by law? The police seem to be writing this case off and saying, oh, it's just another druggie, and that's not right. According to Diane, Denise refused to leave Nampa after contacting 17 different parties about renting a place in Boise. They determined,
17.
yeah, because she had
trying to find a place. That's a, and we know how it is with renting. They want an application, probably an application fee. I'm sure it wasn't as much back then, but still, you don't have 17 if they're $10 each. Now we're talking $170. Like,
well, they had determined, these places that were renting had determined that she couldn't afford rent and daycare costs on the minimum wage job that the MPD had found for her over there. So they've placed her in between a rock and a hard place. And they're like, we're doing our best. Yeah. Here's a minimum wage job in Boise. And historically, Boise has been more expensive than Nampa. And she might have been getting aid here in Canyon County. Who knows, how that was working. But she tried to go over there. And by the way, I don't think that was...
No. Nampa to Boise is a 20-minute drive, 20 to 45 minutes, depending where you're going.
In traffic.
We do have freeways here. Contrary to popular belief, there is a freeway that will lead you straight from Nampa to Boise, or even Caldwell to Boise. Can you believe it?
I know.
Like, you can get somewhere. There's paved roads. But
multiple lanes, too.
I mean, it was small enough back then that I could see it could have made some difference. But, like you said, moving a town over, 2 towns over, that's not going to do anything.
Meridian didn't even count as a...
It's like a half a town at that point.
Yeah, it was a town and a half over. It's huge now. Diane first reported her sister missing at 9 p.m. on September 19th. Diane called Detective Creech at home on September 20th. So the family knew what was going down. I mean, for her sister to have this detective's number at home, Diane called Detective Creech at home on September 20th, and he said, quote, she probably went out and got drunk someplace and fell asleep. Oh, this is just rude. If I was, oh my God, I'd be livid if I was her sister. I mean, and she's upset. Diane says her sister has never been irresponsible to her children or her family. She would have never gone out all night and not come back.
And just for that to be your first response, even if you're thinking it, maybe if you did know something, that's...
How about the 7 people that she helped bust?
Yeah, this is probably your best informant. He's in a cut above the rest.
A cut above.
That's so fucking frustrating. I can't imagine how awful that would be to be sitting at your house as a sister and be like, she's done all this for you.
Are you going to at least go fucking look for her?
You are the law. You're involved in her activities that could put her in danger.
Are you going to go look for her? No. Creech told Denise he would go look for her sister on Monday.
Next business day. We'll take 3 to 4 business weeks. We'll look into it.
A little over a week before her disappearance, Denise has last provided a tip that led to the arrest of Richard Holmes on September 10th. Over $100,000 worth of drugs were seized, which included 51 marijuana plants, 10 grams of cocaine, 176 grams of loose marijuana, 8 grams of meth, and to round it out, 4 hits of LSD.
Just
also
a nice variety.
They were drugging.
And the all-inclusive store. This was like the Walmart of
What do you
drugs.
need? See a little meth, LSD.
Well, anything you need.
They also, and this becomes important later, they also found $7,000 in cash. So these guys had cash. They're doing the drugs.
And when you get busted for drugs like this, they can take anything that they think is associated.
Yeah, they took a Chevy Nova. Do you know where the house was at? It's at Caldwell Boulevard.
Oh, shit.
But back in the day, Caldwell Boulevard, there was like
More
property up there. Like, It was right by CWI, out there.
Oh, that campus. It's by like the chef store and everything.
Yeah, yeah. There was a mobile home out there. So that's in town now.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s was
Kind of
a
that.
little bit rural, a little bit rural. So that $7,000 that they found, there was more of it somewhere because Richard Holmes posted bond the very next day.
Or he had some very influential and powerful, like, people. Maybe I shouldn't say influential. So he had some people that were bankrolling him or involved with him that had money.
Yeah.
This is what it. If you find a gal with 3 pot plants, she's watching for someone, and maybe it's a lie if you want to believe that it's
Who
a lie,
cares?
whatever.
3 plans.
But this is not someone that's well established in the drug world. This is someone that's probably being invited to parties or maybe has some friends that she hears a name. This is like punching above your ability. Like,
This was above her pay grade.
yeah, she should not have been exposing someone with that many drugs. And I feel bad for her. And I wish she would have maybe realized that. I'm not blaming her because she just thought that she was going to be taken care of.
But also the MPD putting her in that position, greedy fucks. People are going to figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking late 80s. Maybe there was 25,000 people in Nampa. Maybe 22. I didn't. But I just know growing up, it was definitely under 30,000 people. And 7 people have been busted for drugs when this lady's been around. And she had to testify against these people. There's no secret informants. Okay.
Yeah, she needed to be in the witness protection or out of state immediately. This is wild to me.
Richard Holmes was arrested again on December 7th, 1987 for second-degree kidnapping, aggravated battery, grand theft, possession of cocaine, and carrying a concealed weapon.
Wow.
So obviously not concerned about a September arrest with $100,000 for the drugs.
I guess not. Still out gallivanting, and
I can't wait to hear about this kidnapping thing later. It's so, you're like, what? Is this a movie?
it sounds like a movie.
In 1988, Ronald Eugene Wages, 35, is arrested on a kidnapping charge on February 10th. There we go with that middle Eugene name again.
As I was just thinking that you
So fucking popular. He was already in the Canyon County Jail where he had been since January 5th on drug charges. In late February, a grand jury was formed to investigate the probable homicide of Denise. Meanwhile, the police continue to search for Denise's body, believed to be located in the Squaw Creek area south of Marsing, Idaho. The grand jury indicts 4 people for the disappearance of Denise. Richard Holmes, 33, for criminal kidnapping, and he's also being held on intimidating witnesses and obstructing a police officer. 3 others are indicted as well, but that information is not released to the public because it's a grand jury. They don't have to do that.
Oh, you're right.
On March 4th, Holmes' wife, Deborah, was arrested for a February 21st theft. She's accused of stealing tools from the State Highway District building and banks. You know those buildings.
Yes.
The big brown
People
buildings.
who have driven that way should know.
They surely know. In court records filed in April, interviews from 2 acquaintances of Holmes were revealed. The 2 men said they were coerced into taking Denise into a remote place in Owyhee County, and they believed that she was going to be killed. Why?
I thought they were going to kill her.
I thought they were going to. Yep.
And I was like, you know what? But I got a dentist appointment tomorrow, and
Both men face charges and are being held. The 2 men said they tricked Denise into going into the desert to a prearranged meeting place near Squaw Creek on September 18th. One man said, quote, Holmes said she was a problem. Holmes asked one of the men, quote, if it came down to it, would we have the guts to pull the trigger to kill her, you know? And I told him no. Both of us did. Told him no repeatedly. Holmes then said he would look at her like an animal, cut her throat, and let her bleed.
Yikes.
So many drugs. I mean, bad person, but drugs too. Holmes said if she's not in court to testify against him for sales, all they can get him for is possession. And this is the 51 plants and the 4 hits LSD, all of that stuff. According to the records, the 2 men picked up Denise and went to Middleton, bought tequila, and drove her around for a while, drinking and smoking marijuana. Now, I'm just a little sidetrack here about Middleton. So, if you're not from here or don't understand, Idaho, we have state-run liquor stores. But in some little towns where they don't have a state-run liquor store because it would be too expensive, they do allow other...
Like a gas station convenience store.
I know. I have made runs to this. Yes. You know the one.
Because they're open later.
They're open later and they can sell later. And, I mean, liquor stores were shutting down like at 9 o'clock. I don't know. I think it's like that here right now, too. It's like 9 o'clock, right? I'm not out that late. I don't know. But you can't buy liquor after like 9 o'clock here.
You can go to the bar.
You can go to the bar, but you cannot be like at 9:01 decide that you want to get tore up and listen to music and play some cards with your buddies and go buy a bottle of whiskey because it's fucking closed. So, but there are some state-run. I don't even think there's one around here anymore. But you knew you could drive to Middleton.
No, that was the place. And it's kind of a straight shot from Nampa. Like, so if you have someone that's sober enough to drive there and it's after hours, you go on a little field trip to Middleton and you get your booze there and come back. And
because I think you could buy it there till like 11. I know
maybe
exactly
even
the store.
Later.
I know the exact convenience store. So we've all done it. So they drove her out there, picked up a bottle of tequila. They were doing their thing. Near midnight, the men took Denise out to the Marsing area, where they were confronted by a man with a shotgun, who they believed is Wages. I don't think these guys knew exactly what they were getting into, to be fair.
Okay.
The man directed them to remove Denise's pants and underwear and tore open her blouse. They also tied her up with shoestrings and poured vodka on her. A, vodka not necessary. B, what's up with the fucking shoestrings?
Well, and why does she need to be naked? Like,
yeah, it's just show of power. It's stupid.
Yeah.
But then the men were told to leave. Thanks for the delivery. Bye.
So,
at what point, though, did these guys be like, that's not what I thought was going to happen?
well, yeah. And it's just, once again, a common thing we hear is if men are around, who's going to protect these women? From who? Other men that they do not stand up to. Like, oh, yeah, she's now naked and covered in vodka.
And
yeah, I guess I'll go on about my day. Weird. I cannot imagine being put in a situation like that and being like, oh, I do have to run a few more errands tonight. Like, okay, bye.
And just go home? Like,
the fuck?
Police located a thong and a comb believed to belong to Denise in the area, but have been unable to locate her body. And when I say a thong, I mean a flip-flop.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying, because it could be either.
It was a flip-flop. Wages and Holmes are finally indicted on murder charges. In May, this is kind of a little sidetrack here, just to let you know. Yeah. In May, an inmate in the Canyon County Jail, Juan Rivas, is seeking $500,000 Rivas was severely beaten after being put in the same cell with his co-defendant, Rogelio Medina, and Wages. The two men attacked Rivas. Wages grabbed him from behind and called him a snitch and began hitting him on the face and chest. Wages told Rivas he was going to rape him and beat him because he heard Rivas was talking to the police about the drug situation in Nampa.
Ew.
So that just lets you know what kind of... The reason I included this is because Wages...
There was some shit happening.
And he's in jail, so he's sober. He's in jail and sober. He's just a bad dude. The tort claim states that Wages is known to be a dangerous criminal who had severely beaten another inmate just a month before. Why are they putting him in a cell with other people?
You know, my question is, why don't they give him a razor blade?
With a toothbrush.
Oh my God.
This is, I'm Canyon County, okay? It's not the Idaho State Correctional Facility. They don't know about the razors and the toothbrush.
It doesn't seem like they care much, but
They don't.
okay.
During a sentencing hearing for Holmes on an unrelated kidnapping charge,
People just kidnapping left and right.
they were. He said his abuse of drugs began after his home burned down last summer. I don't know how it burned down. They probably were doing drugs.
Meth lab, who knows?
In July, Holmes enters a guilty plea on 4 felony drug charges. Prosecutors agree to a sentence of 5 to 10 years in prison, running concurrently with 5 to 10 year prison term he received earlier this year for a second-degree kidnapping of Ricky Simonis.
Okay.
They are kidnapping.
It's coming around.
The 3 other drug charges will be dropped. The 4 felony charges stem from the September 87 drug raid. A mistrial was declared in May after $1,000 of cocaine was discovered missing in the evidence.
Oh. How does that happen?
Hmm.
Who has access to the evidence rooms?
The MPD.
They were having a ball.
An 8-ball. An 8-ball. I don't even know shit about drugs, but I know that there's an 8-ball. Is that a thing? That's right?
That is right.
Yeah.
They weren't having an 8-ball. They were having a time.
Woo. Oh, shit.
Oh, props MPD. I bet that was a
They'll come after
memorable time.
On August 2nd, Denise's body is finally located.
Finally.
I mean, it's
Is it
almost
a
a
year?
full year.
Yeah.
About 35 miles south of Marsing, Idaho. It was about 100 yards off of Cow Creek Road, approximately 10 miles off of Highway 95. So it was one of those dirt roads back there.
Mhm. Yeah. Cow Creek Road sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's people listening that know exactly where that's at.
Yeah.
The body was in a deep ravine, partially concealed by rock. August was busy because also in August, Nampa Police Chief Marshall Brisbane asked the state to review the city procedures regarding drug informants. Because people were pissed. Just like we're like, how does this even happen, right? 7 and 3 months?
You gotta realize the risk there.
The Idaho Bureau of Narcotics, didn't even know that was such a thing, but there it is, reviewed the policies and stated they are essentially the same as the State Bureau, which doesn't mean shit to me.
For me, I'm like, y'all just had how much cocaine go missing from your evidence room?
Mhm.
Idaho Bureau of Narcotics. Is it of doing narcotics? Like, what are we? We do cocaine the best. Like, what the fuck?
So it doesn't mean much. Now, in August, Maxwell Mad Max Hoffman is charged on August 22nd with the fatal stabbing of Denise.
Really?
Well, they finally found her body. Hoffman is already in prison for second-degree kidnapping of a man named Ricky Simones.
It was the Wild West.
So Holmes was also charged with the Ricky Simones kidnapping.
Okay.
Ronald Wages pleads guilty to first-degree murder before Judge Doolittle. In September, he testified that Richard Holmes ordered the revenge slaying. Wages also testified Denise was killed by him and Hoffman on orders from Holmes. But Holmes was not present when the murder took place. Wages said he stabbed Denise in the heart when she pleaded to be put out of her misery after Hoffman first had slit her throat. This is brutal, guys.
No shit.
Yeah. There'll be a little bit more. It was a brutal murder. And everybody...
There was a lot of people involved.
A lot of people. And everybody was high and drunk and just...
thinking that they're Scarface almost.
So, you know, those guys that... Those guys that took her out to the desert.
Delivered her.
Yeah. One of them, Longstreet, 19 years old, testified for the defense with a different story. He said Wages ordered the trio out of the car, pointing a shotgun at them. Wages then told the men to tie Denise up with the bootlaces before leaving. Longstreet and his buddy Slauson are facing second-degree kidnapping charges, but they are cooperating with the authorities in exchange for a 6-month jail term. Why would this even be a negotiating factor if they actually delivered a person to literally be slaughtered?
Well, you wonder if they were just like, oh, pick up our friend.
But with her being tied up, the vodka.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is a little bit more violent than... This is not a talking to.
What people will go along with when there's some weird power structure and
Drugs. Men. Holmes and Hoffman arrived later in separate trucks. Holmes then confronted Denise. He asked her why she busted him, and she replied it was her job. He kicked Denise in the face while she was sitting down, and then told her, "You're dead, bitch." It makes me so...
But should have never been put in this position. I cannot believe this is over 3 pot plants.
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Just recently, they're like, there's a bill on the Idaho legislature that any possession is $300 fine of marijuana. And everyone is going and paying all of Oregon's taxes to get it. Like, Oregon has so much tax money from Idaho.
That's the only reason I'll say go Oregon, because otherwise it's a shit show. But anyway. Before driving off, Holmes told Hoffman, "You know what to do." Wages and Hoffman snorted some cocaine and meth several times.
Damn.
Before killing Denise. I wonder, and I don't know this, I wonder how long this was drawn out for her.
I bet it was a long time. I've heard that meth time,
That time doesn't even exist.
no, it doesn't. And especially, it sounds like they had talked about it before of could you do it? And it seemed like there was a lot of pushback from others. And so
Well, that was the two guys, the two younger kids, the 19-year-olds that...
Yeah, so you can say that you would do it all you want, but when it comes to actually doing it, and it doesn't sound like she's fighting or anything, and now they're trying to like get up the
Get the meth
balls
courage?
to
Meth
do it.
courage. Richard Holmes was the one who led the police to Denise's body.
Really?
Yeah. On September 25th, a riot breaks out at the Idaho State Penitentiary.
Uh-oh.
The riot caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. and resulted in the stabbing murder of an inmate. Inmates were preparing a homemade liquor called squawky.
Let's go, Squawky.
I thought it was Hoot.
Turned up.
Right?
Maybe there's different brands. They're like, we make ours on an orange base and others make theirs on a grape base.
Maybe.
Some do apple, but we do Squawky.
Do you think there's ever any like yeast involved? Like, do you think that maybe?
Who knows? You know,
I do not know how to make liquor.
all
so
you have is time. So, and especially now with the resources, you could just call someone and be like, hey, Google how to make liquor in incarceration.
I'd be scared to
site."
get poisoned.
I think people might be scared, but
Like you drink it first, and I'll.
There's
If
some
you're not dead in 2
desperation.
hours,
Yeah.
then I'll have some with you. I would be immediately kicked out of that group. You don't get any. Not for you. You. Yeah. No. If you're not going to partake, you don't get to wait and see if we die. You suck. Bye. And I'm like, oh.
I'll find a new group of friends. Let me go to G Block.
Play some cards and I'll drink some Kool-Aid. When the guards moved in to take the squawky drink, the riot started. 60 well-armed officers assembled at the prison nearly 2 hours after the 78 inmate unit was lost to rioters. 78.
They're like, there's a fucking lot of us.
A bonfire had been set. Almost every piece of glass in sight was destroyed. Dozens of holes were punched in walls and cells.
Okay, Kyle. Damn.
The inmates surrendered after choking on the smoke from their own fires.
Oh.
Uppy, somebody open a fucking window in here.
I can't breathe.
Somebody open a window in this place. Like, bruh.
Too much on the bonfire. Too much. Too much. Sucking all the oxygen out of here.
That made me laugh
This
so
is
hard.
fucking funny, though.
They're like, oh.
This is the mistake that Rick and Jared would make in a prison riot. They'd be like, we know how to make a fucking fire.
Let's burn this shit down. Oh, wait.
Now we can't breathe.
We can't breathe. We give. But I bet you it was a sexy fire.
I'm sure it was a very sexy fire. They're like, this bonfire is badass. Why is it not functioning?
It was. After nearly 3.5 hours, the dust settled, and Richard Holmes was found stabbed to death in his cell.
Oh, God.
A hole was punched through Holmes' cell, hollow block wall. They be building prisons out of cinder blocks.
Just stacking some cinder blocks. They're like, that looks good.
Yeah. Little mortar in between.
If someone can punch and break through it, this is, I think I said on one of the earlier episodes, a lot of these prisons were just smoke and mirrors. Like, they had all of the, on the outside, the sheen of security. But
You gotta fill those. I have dropped cinder blocks before and broke them. Like,
yeah,
it's not super durable. Like, you can build walls out of them, but you could also, I feel confident that I could punch a hole through one. I mean, I probably
or
hurt.
at least chisel your way, or if, like, over time, chip away.
Quit being cheap, state of Idaho. That shit should have been filled with concrete.
It was hollow.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like Legos. You just stack them and you're good. No one can get through that.
Nobody.
Shawshank is like, hold my beer.
Yeah. He would have been out like
You have
in 2
nothing but
days.
time. Nothing but time.
Corrections Director Al Murphy told the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee that the main cause of the riot is 3 things. First, inmates are dangerous.
Oh.
The second cause is inmates are dangerous. And the third cause is inmates are dangerous.
I'm sorry. That is... Who is this again, please?
This is the Corrections Director, Al Murphy.
Al Murphy. Nothing tells me that you're terrible at your job more than that answer. That I'm if some type of hazard happens or bullshittery happens at your job,
Not my
and
fault.
you
Not my
say
fault.
it's almost like, well, customers are dicks. Like if you have a failing restaurant, customers are dicks. No. Like you give 3 reasons and you give those 3 repetitive reasons. You should have never been put in that position to begin with. What a piss poor level of leadership bullshit.
A recording made by an Idaho State Police sergeant outside of Holmes' cell's block recorded Holmes calling a suspect out by name and pleading with him not to injure him.
Not to enter him?
Not to injure.
Oh, God.
Like, wow.
This is very racy. Like, I mean, still, not to injure is big. Maybe we should start that over because I'm like, what's the I mean, this is the 80s. You don't have a recording thing on your. How did you catch this?
So just so you know, they called it a pocket recording, which I'm assuming he had like a little cassette recorder, you know, like the mini tapes or something. The name Shorty was repeated several times, although the police could not see into Holmes' cell. A bloody palm print found in Holmes' cell also belonged to Shorty. A first-degree murder warrant was issued against Rodney Shorty Areza, 21. I'm going to go with it. Areza.
This sounds good.
Shorty was serving up to 10 years on robbery of a Bliss bar and the battery of an employee in Gooding County. 2 others are suspected in the murder of Holmes. John Sorgren, 36, and Merle Lemire, 25. When asked about the motive for the murder, Ada County Sheriff Vaughn Killeen stated, Arezia was trying to establish a reputation in the prison as being tough. Arezia is about 5 foot 4 inches tall, but weighs about 190 pounds. Big boy.
Thick boy.
He was just 15 when he robbed the YN bar in 1983 and was tried as an adult.
Ooh.
Shorty struck Jake Overfelt, a 56-year employee, over the head with several whiskey bottles and kicked him in the neck and left him for dead. Jake was cleaning up after closing hours. I think bartending's a dangerous job.
No shit. We've been through this a few times. Like,
Killeen also stated that Holmes may have been killed because he was labeled a snitch.
how ironic.
Which I feel like is probably the case.
Well, you're grasping at straws. He was looking at ways to get out of this and have it only be a possession. And who knows if he wasn't
Making a deal, right? Let me tell you where the body's at, because
or let me tell you where I'm
he
getting
wasn't
my-
there. He wasn't there.
Mhm.
He left. He just ordered the killing.
Right.
So he thought maybe he could get out.
And he's probably got some great, with the variety of drugs, it was a smorgasbord of drugs. You have multiple contacts that you could probably be like, I don't really like that guy. I'll turn him in and get a reduction on my sentence or the charge or whatever.
Sure. I agree.
All right, Holmes. So possible snitch.
In a jailhouse interview with the Idaho Statesman, Horacia said, first of all, these attorneys had to be pulling their fucking hair. Like, quit talking to the Idaho Statesman. Just
Statesman's
shut
like,
the
"What's
fuck
that?"
up. But in his jailhouse interview, Horacia said, I didn't do nothing. He had no motive to kill Holmes because he is scheduled for release in the summer of '89. Quote, I only got 9 or 10 months left on a 10-year sentence. What kind of fool do you think I am to go out and commit a murder when I'm about to get out?
It's a pretty good point.
In October, Deborah Holmes pled guilty to several charges, some stemming from the theft in February from the Highway District, as well as welfare fraud and drug charges. She is sentenced to probation. And I'm convinced she got sentenced to probation because her husband died.
Yeah.
In October, a breakdown between Canyon and Hawaii counties regarding who is paying and who is trying what. Because, the drug bust was here. They kidnapped her from Canyon County, but they actually found her in Hawaii County.
Multi-county.
And they were trying to work it out, but it's not happening.
Well, the NPD's like, if we can't have whatever drugs those are, how are we going to steal them? So if you let us have this is all me making up things, but they have a track record of dipping into that evidence room, and maybe they just really wanted that evidence. I don't know who has it, but NPD, this wasn't your shining decade for sure.
Holmes' attorney Keene, making another appearance,
Mm-hmm.
blamed prosecutors for filing court documents that included information about Holmes' cooperation with the authorities. So they did.
Cooperation.
Yeah. But they filed it and then it was publicly. It was publicly.
Public-er.
Thank you. In November, there's a complete fallout from the investigation. The Hawaii County coroner, Harold Mick Craven, resigns. He's pissed. He said that the sheriff hid Denise's body from him for 2.5 days and he was never taken to the scene. The coroner.
What is going on here?
Well,
They knew they fucked up and were like, damn it.
I kind of got the feeling, so the body was found in, I'm just, recollecting my research. The body was found in Hawaii County, which is where Craven was.
Mm-hmm.
But they took the body to Canyon County, and the Canyon County
Coroner.
thank you, actually did the autopsy. And Craven was only notified like an hour or so before. And he's basically like, I can't do my job like this. A coroner is number one.
Mm-hmm.
But the sheriff in Hawaii County basically told him, like, this is my body.
And he's like, all right, well, fuck you. I'm out.
Yeah.
Bye.
So he just quit. He said, I can't do, he said, I cannot do my job if this is how it's going to go. So he quit.
So I feel like this ties into the greater theme of fuckery in law enforcement, because that might sound trivial at surface level, but if this type of shit's going on, and this was the last straw for this person, so it sounds like to me, recognizing things, that
Yeah.
a professional in a coroner sense was like, this is it, I'm done, I can't even be doing what I'm paid to do.
Because that's he's supposed to go out there and take pictures and look at everything and look at the evidence. He didn't get that opportunity, and then just to haul him off to another county, he's totally being undermined.
Yeah.
So,
And I can just about guarantee this wasn't the first time
yeah, because
some
he's
shit
like,
had happened.
yeah.
NPD, you were dipping into that evidence room.
We have moved on to 1989,
89, we're almost to the 90s, folks.
which is like, what, 15
It
years
was
ago?
like 15 years ago.
Yeah. In a preliminary hearing for Eurasia, a fellow inmate tearfully testified that it wasn't Shorty that killed Holmes. The inmate, Jerry Mills, said 2 other inmates stabbed Holmes. He would not name them because he was afraid for his life. Mills' cell was directly across from Holmes. He said inmates wearing bandanas and stocking caps over their faces used pipes to break a hole into Holmes' cell. They used knives attached to mop handles and pipes to try and stab Holmes.
Like poking and prodding?
Yeah, but they got in there. I don't know if that's how it started. Quote, I could see a guy stab Holmes in the stomach area a few times and heard Holmes say, no, no, Shorty. Holmes reached up and pulled the stocking cap off of the man's face. I seen who it was. Unquote.
Okay.
The inmate left Holmes's cell and about 10 minutes later, another inmate entered with his face covered. Quote, he laid Holmes' body out flat, rolled him over, pulled his shirt back, and started stabbing him. It seems like 100 times, unquote.
Oh.
It was brutal murder. In February, Longstreet is sentenced to 1 year in the Caney County Jail for a plea to second-degree kidnapping. That was the other fella that she went out drinking with under false pretenses. To only get 1 year.
Especially knowing what happened.
Mm-hmm. In March, Hoffman's trial finally begins. In opening statements, the prosecutor says, after Hoffman learned of his arrest on first-degree murder, he slammed down the phone and yelled, I killed that bitch for a guy, and now he won't bomb me out of jail.
So you thought these were your bros?
Nope. Drugs. A pathologist testified that Denise died from a blow to the head with a large rock, despite her throat being slashed and getting stabbed in the abdomen.
That is so fucking awful. It is.
Wages testified that Denise stated, finish the job, finish it. And that's when Wages took a hunting knife and stabbed her through the armpit. So there's conflicting statements here, abdomen, armpit, but she had the initial, her throat was slit.
And she was still alive. That's wild.
So there was some reporting that her throat was slashed, or testimony actually, that her throat was slashed, and that they thought it was done. And then she came crawling up the ravine.
Oh my God.
Right. So, and then
I think they probably thought it was like the movies and did a quick little slicey, and they're like,
so then that's when they stabbed her again and then started throwing rocks on her to hide the body, thinking she was dead when she wasn't. She actually died from a blow to the head. It was a brutal murder. It's so sad.
awful.
The pair then started throwing rocks over the body to conceal it. After 5 hours of deliberation, Hoffman was found guilty of first-degree murder. You think?
Yeah.
After the trial, Denise's parents, Bill and Lois Fisher, said they didn't believe Hoffman is guilty and should not be sentenced to death. Lois said, quote, I'm very confused. We have information that I can't disclose. I don't think it's over. I know there is more. They do believe that Wages is partially responsible for Denise's death, but that he shouldn't be executed either. They are naming the Nampa Police Department partially for her death. Fair.
Fair to me, too.
In late March, Denise's body is finally released to her family so they can bury her. That is so hard for me when these families are having to wait for these trials to be done.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't the first time.
And it will not be the last time.
Like, they need some
Closure.
finality, to the situation. In April, James Slauson was sentenced to 1 year in jail and 2 years probation for kidnapping. He was a kid, one of the kids that took her out there. Hoffman is sentenced to death in June.
Oh, shit.
Getting it done. Idaho. Also in June, Carissa is on trial for the murder of Holmes. Moving very quickly. And he testifies in his own trial. He said he climbed through the wall to see if Holmes was still alive. Holmes' eyes were open, and he lifted his shirt to see if he was breathing. They have that recording, though, of him saying, I don't know, I struggle with this one. Another inmate testified that Arazia said, quote, somebody go in there and check this out. Nobody would step forward. So Arazia went in to check for vital signs. He looked like he was going to throw up. He seemed to be in a daze. And that was a quote from somebody testifying.
I'm sure it was wild in there. They got a damn bonfire going.
Can't breathe. Arazia is found guilty of Holmes' murder. Wages is finally sentenced to a fixed life prison term. So no parole. This is the guy who pled guilty. And he was testifying against everybody.
Right.
Mad Max Hoffman loses an appeal in July for the kidnapping charge of Ricky Simonis on December 7th, 1987. This is the guy he kidnapped after he... Yeah. Hoffman, Wages, and Holmes went to Ricky's home and beat him. Then they put a gun barrel down his throat and forced him to sign over his pickup for a drug-related debt.
God damn.
These guys were met lots of drugs. Ricky said they threatened to break his jaw if he didn't sign over the truck. So that's where all those charges came from. Dude, you were out on bond for like $100,000 for the drugs and you're just...
Lay low. What are
No,
we
he's like,
doing?
that money's owed to me. I'm going to go get it,
We're gonna
Ricky.
kidnap. We're going to pistol whip. We're going to do what we need to do.
In October, the attorney Cahill for Shorty requested a new trial during the sentencing phase. It's wild. I don't even know how you do this. In court, Cahill called 3 inmates who had previously testified at the trial. The 3 said they were ready to identify who actually broke into Holmes' cell and stabbed him. During the time in court, Judge Carey denies the request for a jury to sentence Arazia. We all know where that's going.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Pauline Miyachi, the head of a prison reform group, testified that another inmate confessed to killing Holmes, along with 2 other people. Miyachi said Merle Lemur confessed to the killing to a religious counselor. Lemur had testified in Shorty's trial, stating he did not kill Holmes, but refused to name who did the murder. A volunteer spiritual leader, Paul Bull, said he spoke with Lemur privately on August 29th. Lemur told him he, Sorgen, and Clark had broken into Holmes' cell. Lemur told him he, Sorgen, and Clark broke into Holmes' cell. Lemur said, I stabbed Holmes 3 times, and then I didn't like what I was doing, and Sorgen took the shiv and stabbed him multiple times. Then Clark hit him in the head with a shovel. He also stated, I am not going to stick my neck out on death row. Arazia is sentenced to a fixed 35-year sentence for the murder of Holmes to run concurrent with a 20-year term for rioting.
Alrighty then.
They don't care.
They're like, yeah, there was some fuckery. Who knows what happened? You're done.
In 1990, Merle Lemur, 27, is charged for the murder of Holmes. This is so confusing to me. Lemur said he was willing to take the blame because he had nothing to live for. He saw 3 men climb through the hole into Holmes' cell, but won't say who. In October, Lemur pled guilty to second-degree murder. He said he did not actually participate in the stabbing, but helped Arazia bust through the block wall. He is sentenced to 32 years to life. After sentencing, he told the court that Arazia is innocent. I want you to know the truth. Rodney had no participation in that. Make up your mind, bro.
Yeah, this is...
So I'm having a hard time with Shorty's conviction.
Mm-hmm. Because what really happened, I don't know if we'll ever know.
No. So, of course, we have appeals. Hoffman does get Joan Fisher as an attorney. I can't remember who she was with. Was it the Pratt brothers? She was with somebody. And in 97, Hoffman files a petition with the court to drop his appeals so that he can be executed. All a wells.
Really?
1998, Hoffman is granted his wish and an execution date is given. Attorney Fisher says Hoffman is not capable of making that decision to drop his appeals, and a stay is granted. Like, he's too depressed, but all that. 2002, U.S. District Court Judge B. Lynn Windmill issued an order for Hoffman to be resentenced. This is because he was denied a lawyer during his pre-sentencing interview. Idaho, get it together. And in 2003, sentence is tossed out for Hoffman. The federal appellate court says juries, not judges, have to determine aggravating circumstances and sentence the criminals, which we've seen time and time and time again.
Again, yeah.
In 2006, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal rules that Hoffman has to be released or reoffered a plea deal that he originally turned down. And then there's nothing. There's nothing
Radio
until
silence.
2014.
Damn.
Hoffman is discharged.
What does that mean?
He's out.
Relief?
I don't know. What exactly? He's not in jail anymore. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know these things. I wish I did. If I had money to go down to the courthouse and pay their ridiculous $4.50 a page, I would know. But I don't know. And in 2020, Wages is discharged. Rodney Shorty, 57, was released just last year in February. And Merle Lemaire is 62 and released and on parole.
That's incredible. Like, just mind-blowing.
That's all I got. I'd be happy to go down to the courthouse, kids, and get all that information, but they be charging buku bucks. Anyway,
It is ridiculous per page to get transcripts.
it's supposed to be public information. Thank you. I should be able to like that shit up online.
This one has been wild to me. Like, I still can't get over how they had some random girl who was not deeply entrenched in the drug scene, it doesn't seem,
3 plants, not deeply entrenched.
is now putting forth and able to get 7 convictions. That means that she was probably having more tips. This is not a big town, especially back then. And
They knew. They knew.
so was she just a party girl that knew a bunch of girls, that was some pretty girl that hang out with these people or those people and knew some names? Like,
You're like, I'm giving you 1, bro. And then I'm out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
7. And it was irresponsible of the Nampa Police Department
yeah.
to let her just go get another one. All right, good job.
They're like, oh, well, we offered you a job and room and board. No, you said, I mean, what were they really offering her? The money wasn't going to cover her cost to move to Boise.
No.
What were you offering her? That she could? I mean, anyone can.
And I'm going to tell you that her sister said she was just such a giving person. She was a good person. And she had worked in home health care with seniors and also, or not home health care, but, retirement centers with seniors. And she had also worked with developmentally delayed people. Like, that job, you have to be a certain kind of a person.
A very
like,
giving person.
yeah, you have to have a gentle soul. And so she was a good person. She had a 5 and 6-year-old kids. She was 27. I just think she was caught between a rock and a hard place with these guys. Over $100 fine. I mean, that could be like now, like maybe a $4,000 fine. Like, and if you don't have, they're going to put you in jail.
And we all, who can be away from their job for, even if you're able to bond out in a week or two, what jobs are going to forgive you for that?
And rent and kids and
Or your mortgage. Like, what if you do lose your job? Now you've lost your car because your car payment's behind. Like, it jeopardizes everything because you know that it's just such a flimsy house of cards that we all have it, you know, maybe a lot of people are very well off financially. I try to be as responsible as I can and save as much as I can, and I have a little bit of a buffer, but I can tell you, you know, most people are one medical bill or one marijuana plant watching for your friend bill away from it upending your entire life. So,
And how sad. I mean, it's just sad that, and what a horrible
death.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was definitely a story that had so many crazy factors in it.
A little dabble of everything.
Yes, and so many characters, but
Lots of characters.
R.I.P. Denise. Like, she should have never been put in that position.
Ever.
She was not built for it, wasn't made for it. They took advantage of her. So, NPD, 80s NPD, not great. Stop dibbly dabbling in the evidence room, please.
Stop doing drugs. $1,000. Whoopee. Gotta drop that charge.
All the cocaine is gone.
Don't know what happened. And somebody's like, dude, look what I fucking got to work.
He's like,
Party.
we are getting down. This is the 80s, you know, they're having fun. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been another episode of The Lethal Library. You can reach out to us at thelethalibrary@gmail.com. Email us new tips and cases. We love to hear them. Thank you, Diana, for emailing us.
Thank you for that. And also, you can reach out to us on any of our socials. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to Lisa, who is been a day one listener and gives me positive feedback.
We love to hear it. We love you guys' tips, tricks, and what you like to hear, what you don't. We know we're not everyone's cup of tea. We'll do our best.
Thanks for listening.
10-4, Rubber Ducky.
Yeah.